right, so this game tonight between the Warriors and 76ers was just a roller coaster of emotions for me and probably every Warriors fan watching tonight because it just was crazy. The Warriors at one point in the game were down by 24 points and they actually overcame that deficit and took the lead in the third quarter. However, they still lost by 10 points. The final score was 108-98. And they lost because in the fourth quarter they got lazy. They only scored 13 points while the 76ers scored 28. But that third quarter was amazing. They were able to overcome a 24-point deficit without having their best player, Stephen Curry, as he's going to be out for the foreseeable future with a tailbone injury. So that was really unfortunate we lost. I mean, at the beginning of the game, we were playing terribly. We only scored 17 points in the first while the Sixers scored 35. And, we made it a little bit closer in the second. In the third, we really, captured that point scoring. And then in the fourth, we got lazy. Our leading scorer was Kelly Oubre Jr. He had 24 points. He played a majority of the game. He played 35 minutes. He had 10 rebounds and 3 assists, so a pretty good stat line. Jordan Poole played pretty good too. 11 points for Wiseman, who was the starting center tonight. 6 for Green and 14 for Wiggins and 16 for Lee. So those were all the guys that kind of scored a lot. But it's just annoying because you look at our first half stats were terrible. We could not shoot the 3-point, and the Sixers were. And the Sixers actually ended up not having good 3-point shooting all night. But at the beginning of the game they were, and the Warriors were kind of the opposite. At the end of the game they were shooting well. And by end of the game I mean third quarter, but they were shooting well. In the beginning of the game they were shooting badly. And I mean, we didn't play terribly, but we just I don't get why we can't just seal the game. We were taking bad shots in the fourth. We were getting lazy. We were not able to execute. And obviously, this is a young team right now. Obviously, we don't have Curry, who probably would have sealed the game. But it's just frustrating. And, we look at, the 76ers, and, they had definitely Tobias Harris had a great game. He's our leading scorer with 25. 22 for Simmons, who played point guard tonight. Korkmaz, he had 12. 13 for Milton. 18 for Bradley. So they had a lot of guys that played well, but they did fall apart and they blew a huge lead, which was kind of really amazing to see the Warriors come back from. They didn't have Steph Curry, yet they were able to come back from a 24-point deficit. And just they have the lead and then, they lose, which is kind of a common theme this year. You look at multiple games have happened like this, where they are able to overcome this deficit, but they can't quite finish. Maybe it's because they're tired. I don't know. But they got to limit the turnovers too. There's just a lot of things, fouling. They got to, towards the end of the game, there were some really selfish plays, not good, technical fouls that probably, helped the 76ers, win the game. So just not the way we want to end the game. 13 points in the fourth, opposed to 40 in the third. That's a 27-point difference. Not something we want to see. That's definitely a big negative. Our next game we will be playing. Well, okay, so we moved to 22-22, so we're 500 now. And the next game we're playing the Sacramento Kings. That should be a win, but I don't know. The Kings have won some recently, so I don't know. But we're still in 9th place behind the Mavericks. We're about 1 game back of them, so you just have to hope for the Mavericks to lose. We're still in 9th, like I said. But it's a tight race. I mean, the Spurs are in 7th. We're only a game and a half back of them, and we're only 2 games back at Portland, who's in the 6th seed. So, but we got to watch out for the Grizzlies, who are half game back of us, yet they've played less games. So we got to make sure we're winning sufficiently. Our schedule coming back isn't super hard. We have some easy teams coming up. Easy, I guess, could be not the right term considering the fact that we have lost to bad teams. But we got to step up. This is not a good way to lose. I thought we were definitely going to break 100. We only got to 98. So let me know what you guys think. Warriors moved to 22-22. Final score, Philadelphia 76ers 108. Golden State Warriors 98. And last note, the Warriors wore their Oakland jerseys tonight, which is cool. 76ers wore their earned edition Liberty Bell jerseys. Pretty cool, actually. But that's it, guys. Peace out. Go Warriors.